Well, we know this. In just over a month, Donald Trump will be officially in the White House. And an issue we know he'll be facing is the crisis in the Middle East, including now the turbulence in Syria. To discuss this and more, pleased to bring in Missouri Congressman Mark Alford. He's also a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Welcome into Newsline, Congressman. Good to have you today.
Thank you, Bianca.
Joe Biden came out on Sunday talking about what his plan was. It differs a bit from President-elect Donald Trump, who posted on Truth Social over the weekend as well. Syria is a mess. This is not our fight. Let it play out. Do not get involved. Obviously, it's very complicated with, Turkey, a NATO member, funding some of these rebels, terrorists. And the question about who will control Syria and how does this impact our greatest ally, Israel, as well?
Well, I think President Trump is very spot on this. We've got to stay out of Syria. We do not need another endless war. Let's let Israel take care of this. They are doing that. They have bombed many of the armament depots there in Syria. They have temporarily taken some ground in Syria to provide a buffer zone so they don't get targeted by the jihadist Islamist terrorists who want to do them harm. We don't need that. We don't need more terrorist groups firing missiles like Hezbollah has done and like Hamas has done into Israel. As far as Turkey goes, that's really an unknown player. We know that the leaders there want some footprint, a continued footprint in Syria. We have to be very cautious about that. But let's let Israel take care of their new neighbors to the northeast of Golan Heights.
Well said. So there were some announcements yesterday from the transition team. I want to get your reaction. We have Donald Trump announcing Kimberly Guilfoyle, new U.S. ambassador to Greece. Andrew Ferguson will lead the Federal Trade Commission. And it is Congressman Dan Bishop to be the deputy director of the Office of Management and Budget. So a lot of moves being made, and they are coming quickly. Your reaction?
I am so proud of Dan Bishop. He is a great member here, a level-headed attorney who is going to do great in that. He is the perfect person for that. Kimberly Guilfoyle, of course, a former news anchor. I have an affinity for that, having been one myself. She is a great communicator, has a passion for America first. We are in Greece, actually, a lot. I am on the Armed Services Committee and the Subcommittee for Sea Power. We have a presence there at Suda Bay, and we meet with the ambassador when we go there, and I look forward to meeting with her about Greece, one of our closest allies there. And then, of course, Ferguson with the FTC. Look, he is America first. He is going to stand up to big tech and censorship. I couldn't have picked a more perfect person to lead that charge to straighten out the Federal Trade Commission.
Before we let you go, Congressman, a really concerning incident with Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She says she was attacked on the Capitol yesterday. There was an arrest. 33-year-old James McIntyre, U.S. Capitol Police took him in. He's charged with assaulting a government official. She says this is connected to her push to protect females, really, to have their own bathrooms on Capitol Hill. There is a group now that disputes the allegations. But what's your take on a potential attack on a fellow Congress member here?
Well, of course, it's wrong, and they ought to throw the book at these people. Justice must be served. We as elected officials do put our lives on the line a lot of times just walking around. Capitol Police can't be everywhere. Just last week, I was visiting with a member in the Cannon House office building, and there was a large protest. His office is connected to the Mike Johnson, the Speaker's personal office there, and there was a large protest over this whole bathroom issue. It was quite loud. They ended up arresting a lot of people. Nancy Mace has been targeted before. I want to tell all these nut jobs out there, Code Pink, all of you guys, it's okay to espouse your belief, but you've got to do it civilly. You cannot use violence, and you cannot use harassment of federal employees or federal officials.
Congressman Alford, a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us today. I always appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure.